Wow. Go ahead.
Caught us again.
Yeah, yeah.
Good evening.
Caught
Good
us with our
evening.
pans up.
How is everyone? And I hope you're getting ready for the holiday season if you celebrate. And if you don't, I hope you're getting ready to enjoy life anyway. We are, okay, we're taking the journey
Yeah,
together.
I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to
I
work on this,
I
babe. I'm
am
sorry.
Sharon Orzare. Yeah, you usually jump in. That's all.
Oh, okay.
And I am here speaking without my hand up his back for Imar or Craig
Mm,
because I can do that.
mm,
So anyway, we are celebrating the fact that school is out for a little while,
mm.
and so we are trying to get as far off the grid as possible. But relationships always need coaching, and so um, regardless,
Especially during this holiday season.
yes.
Oh my God,
And
that's
so,
too bad.
regardless, here we are. We are here to talk to you about bridge statements. Once again, this is bridge statement part three, how to use them to solve conflicts.
Mm, mm.
And I am just kind of fudging it right here because I was doing something else right before we came in. I was looking for something,
What was you
but
looking for?
I was looking for the video
Oh well,
that
I
we were
think
going to
I'll
show,
work on
but
it. I'm gonna
you've
bring.
got that
I'm
now.
gonna bring it. You're gonna read the vision, and we can bring in the host. You want because it's a
No,
holiday,
I'm
so we
not going
want.
to read the vision. You know
Okay,
why?
why?
I don't have it with us.
Oh wow,
But
so you don't remember by heart.
I can say the short version.
Go right and
Okay.
say the short part. Then we're gonna bring our host in because this is a holiday
Yes.
season, so we're not gonna really try to stick to everything
Yes.
by the rules. But go ahead.
Okay, so this is how our statement goes. We are going to relate. It doesn't matter what your mother, father, sister, brother, uncle, or even what Jesus says. We are going to relate. At taking the journey together, we believe in relating in a balanced manner. And what we mean by a balanced manner is you engage in a relationship with your friend and you grow that friendship into a lovership and you marry your friend and your lover in the same person because of that. We go against the idea of you can marry your friend but you can't marry your lover, or you can be friends but you can't be lovers. We believe that they should be one and the same. Ashe,
I'll
and there it
say.
is.
No, so
That's the shorter version. However, it goes together that way sometimes.
hey, bring
And
her in,
look
sis.
who's
Hey,
here.
Happy holidays.
Looks like there's
happy
a big
holidays. How are you?
looks like we're great, but it
Hmm.
looks like you're having a celebration behind you. It's like come to the Mardi Gras. I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Carnival was one of my favorite experiences.
It's
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
my
So I wanted to ask her. Go ahead. Go. I'm not talking.
No,
oh,
no,
it's
go
not
ahead. Say what
important.
you were saying.
Yep.
I was gonna
No,
No,
say
no,
it's
no,
one
no.
of the pictures I'm using for one
Go
of the
right in.
packages for the parade. We're in the MLK Day parade.
All right.
oh,
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I remember you told us that. We might be out there as part of our collaboration. From
Okay,
that particular
yes,
end.
that'd be great.
Give us a chance to be able to get back out on um,
the scene.
the scene, but in a more different way.
Yes, yes,
So if we do collaborate with you, we definitely will add all our pieces to make it something that's could be bigger than what it is, and that's all right too. We always want to try to enhance. We always want to help people to move. We always want people to be able to expand on more of the gifts. And quite frankly, to us, when you do that, then you are walking in a balanced way. Many of us are walking
Right.
in an imbalanced way because we're not using all the God gifted abilities we have, and that's why we're imbalanced. So we're
yes.
about trying to bring that balance in and bring all that gifts back to you and use it. Yep.
Sweet. Balance. So, how has your week gone?
Busy, busy, busy. Oh goodness. Slightly overwhelmed, but I'm pushing through. I'm resilient.
That's okay. I spend quite a bit of time overwhelmed. Unlike Imar, who he's never he gets overwhelmed, but you don't see it as overwhelmed. You see it as, okay, I'm gonna get through this. He's like a plow for real. But
Mhm.
when he gets overwhelmed, it's a little bit different. It's just another reason for him to look at a way of conquering something. But I understand the a little bit overwhelmed thing. I get that way a lot. And I finally got past my overwhelm for this period of time because I got 15 kids that were failing. We finally got down to 4 that actually did fail. And we had grades done, finals done, everything's graded, and I can breathe. So yeah, my overwhelm is behind me. And I say that in order to say yours will be behind you soon as well. And you'll be able to take a breath. So something to look forward to.
Forward to that.
Until next time. Yeah.
Right.
Know that more overwhelm is coming though.
Yeah.
As long as you do what you do. Yeah.
Right.
Take them one at a time. Yes, but today we're talking about bridge statements. Have you tried any bridge statements since the last time?
We can't hear her.
I ain't said nothing yet. I've been at a point, personally, because I'm overwhelmed. I've just been being quiet. Something that can wait that comes at me, I just kind of just.
You just what again?
You know,
I kind of just been focusing on the things that need to be handled right now, and being slightly dismissive.
Slightly dismissive.
Yeah, I'm slightly dismissive right now, just temporarily until I get out of this overwhelmed state.
Your honesty then is at least established as part of what we call authenticity.
Yes.
As long as you can be disagreeable, sometimes when we do that, disagree. Sorry, without being too disagreeable. No, so you said the word too disagreeable. Then that's being human.
Yes.
Right.
Especially if you're overwhelmed.
Right.
I hope you let people know that too at the same time.
Oh yes, yes. It's in my demeanor. It's like, is you all right? I'm overwhelmed. Thank you. It's in my demeanor right now. So, and I'm honest about everything. So that's where it's at.
Yeah, that does help out when you're like that. Is when people don't let you know, and they would in turn rather ghost you in that matter. And that happens a lot in relationships. People are ghosted in a relationship, which causes that particular dilemma, causes that particular argument, and quite frankly, or alienation feeling.
Yeah.
And when the holidays come, oh my God, it just ramps up high as can be. Am I right?
You're right. And that's one of the problems I have sometimes is I get overwhelmed and I get this attitude of if I talk about my overwhelm and how I'm feeling, then I'm going to be looked at as a whiner. And I don't want to be a whiner. So I just, no, everything's fine. Everything is good. But deep inside, but not even too deep inside, I'm just, it's like tinfoil, aluminum foil. I feel like I'm just being turned into a ball of nothing. I'm just so overwhelmed. And so, but, oh no, I'm going to keep that outward appearance that everything is good. And that's not good. That's not the way it should be. If nothing else, as a bridge statement, I need to say, sweetheart, I just need some time right now because I'm overwhelmed. I have a problem that you cannot solve. I got to just find time to do it. But my energy is not in the right place. But that's that bad thing that I do. And I know I do it, but I'm trying to get better. I'm working at getting better. I'm moving away from using the word trying because that's just a reason not to succeed. But I'm working towards doing better with that, knowing that sometimes I just need a sounding board and not necessarily somebody to solve my problem, just to get it out.
Hold on. You don't want us to save you?
No.
Oh.
I
feel like now I'm taking off my black Superman suit and become Clark Bent. I'm being on that.
But it's like James Brown said in his song. I don't need nobody to do it for me. open up the door. I'll
He
do
said,
it myself.
He said, I don't need anybody to give me nothing.
Give me nothing. Yeah, that's what he
open
said.
the door and I'll do it myself.
Exactly. And that's the same type of thing. I can do it. I just sometimes need somebody to hear me. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess. If you say so.
Well, it makes perfect sense to me.
Because I'm right there with it.
To anybody else.
No.
I definitely need to be heard for a second.
All right. So why are you right there with is that a sister girl thing? Is that what that is? This is just a sister girl thing. Is that what you're trying to say?
No. I just said I just mean that I can relate. I can relate.
I think it's a people thing.
Okay.
Because you know, men are notorious for that.
For what?
For not admitting when they're overwhelmed. You know, they will.
We never get overwhelmed. What are you talking about? We have Superman capes on. Stop it. Stop it. We wear them all the time.
Yeah, but you know,
I'm flying now.
Now we know.
Did you tell?
But I'm holding your cape.
Right.
I'm keeping you up there. You know.
Oh,
and
shoot.
So, but you know, men definitely do that. So it's not a sister thing. It's just a people thing. Anybody who is doing a lot, who have a lot of irons in the fire, as they say, will get overwhelmed. Some more than others. It just depends on your constitution and your makeup, I believe. But that's when you look for your partner to be there to support you, not to take away all of your overwhelm, but just to make it bearable.
A little easier.
Help you make it bearable.
Oh, help you make it bearable. Okay. Yeah.
Bring me a little peace through the storm. Be the eye.
Are you? Okay. So, I've just not found that. Can you believe that? I've been all this time. I cannot believe that all this time we finally found the link to pass on to everybody. For those who may not be watching the show, you're going to find out now. We had a problem finding the link. We apologize, but we're going to get right to it right now. So do is it necessary for us to always play and forget about the fact that there is power in unity? There's power when we get help of other people and with other people. Is there a problem with that, or is it that we should always get the perception I can do better by myself? I really don't need anybody anyway.
We need unity, man. We need.
Melanie, how do you feel? Thank you.
Unity is necessary.
I was.
Go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
Yeah, unity is necessary, and that whole state of mind of I can do it by myself, or I'm better off by myself, is a trauma response.
That I can agree with. I feel like people who say I can do better by myself are those people who have given up on a different type of future. They've made some choices and found themselves in some situations that were not ideal, and because of that, they have assumed that everybody is like that, and so they are they've given up on the possibility of having real unity, real connection, and support in their lives from a partner, and as long as you have that attitude, to me, it's a defeated attitude, right. And so as long as you have that, things won't get better. What do you think?
I'm still working on it, and you guys are doing a good job doing unity things. So I'm still doing the engineering in the background. Just getting the link to our particular group itself to be more specific. Everything around us, from our job to the buildings to the homes we have, came about because people unified. Whether it was the union people working together, though some people don't like union, and work together as carpenters, plumbers, electricians, and so on and so forth to go with the particular architect to build that building. That building didn't get built by itself.
No, and it wasn't just a wish.
Exactly. So every day we are around this idea of unity and togetherness that we walk around and in turn spend our money on. But for some reason, when it comes to a relationship, we act like, nah, that ain't gonna work well. It ain't gonna happen well. In fact, some of it came from past backgrounds where they didn't even see it.
Yes.
We have to admit, a lot of us, including me, come from a single parent family. And I'll be honest with you, idea of seeing a mother and father working together, I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. My mom pretty much raised me in fact, all my life. So I know nothing about having a father around working together in unity with a particular another black woman being my mom and then making things happen and yada yada yada. I know nothing about that from that end.
Me either.
So my experience. Oh, what was that again? I'm sorry, young lady. What did you say?
Me either. I'm right there with you.
Really?
I don't know what it's like, but I know what it's not like. So I know what I would like. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How does that make you? How does that make you feel? Because you know when you just got through talking about before, you said, "Ooh, ooh, ooh, that is trauma." Remember you talked about it when someone talks that way. There's trauma. Now, the trauma response comes from a trauma situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you a question. You can be honest about it. Do you think that in being in a single parent household without that relationship experience with another male, as we were referring to, as you said, you even went into, tell me your own story. My own story, it did cause some trauma. It is a arena in an area that will create trauma all by itself. What do you think? Because some people don't think so.
I think it depends on perspective and how you look at things and value situations. Of course, yes, it causes trauma. The lack of unity in a home showed me the struggle of one person doing everything for 3 children. So me seeing that allowed me to know what I did not want and a little bit of what I did because I saw what was needed. So I know that's needed. So instead of like, oh, I didn't grow up with this, I didn't have that, or this created this thought process in me, instead of looking at it that way, I looked at it more like, okay, this is what I'm going to gear towards. This is the way I'm going to mold myself because I saw what my mama didn't have or the mindset she didn't have. I saw what broke her down or where her weaknesses were. She didn't have strength or needed a partner in this. So I say, okay, I'm gonna build myself this way, and I'm also going to um, admire and incorporate the sense of unity um, going forward. It doesn't make me a single like, oh, I grew up with a single mother, so I know I can handle it by myself. It didn't make me do it like that. It made me be like, okay, I'm strong. If I have to handle it myself, I know how to handle it myself because I grew up handling it myself or with a mother who handled it herself. I know how to be strong, but I know what I want and I know what I need in order for me not to have to do that. So it gave me strength. And maybe that's a trauma response. Maybe my strength is a trauma response. Well, also with the understanding that unity is necessary. Unity is better for the collective. And that's the outlook that it gave me.
Wow. Yeah. Real quickly, yes, Mr. or Mrs. Scott, we will be on the new platform once it gets started. So you'll be seeing us all there. We'll be talking to you, giving you some good information over the new platform. It's a radio program, 10 something. I can't know.
100.
I can't remember exactly. I want to be ashamed, but we'll get it to you before the show is over. Anyway, go ahead. Thank you, Miss Tyler. Good evening for watching, and good evening to you too. So, though, what you're saying is you ain't going for that feel sorry for me, I'm a victim situation. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I'm not a victim. I wouldn't say I'm a survivor either, but I am the product of my environment in a way of growth, and a difference in perspective. So I'm not the typical product of my environment, but I'm definitely still a product of my environment. It's just the silver lining part of it, I would like to say. The more positive
Wow.
aspect, the
I
more
love that.
positive
I love you.
perspective.
That is a pop. that is a positive spin to put on it, no doubt about it. And that positive spin will definitely help those who are in that situation, who will look at the glass as being half empty instead of looking at it as being half full. And I think that's important, that we look at life many times as being half full, because there are some better things that in turn of life we could get that we didn't get. Because first of all, we've got to realize, like in the 12th step of alcoholism, we have to first realize we're alcohol. We have to realize that our situation that in, whether it is we're a product of that situation, that part of that product of that situation, we could have caused that situation, or we may not have caused that situation, but we understand that we are in that situation. And with that acknowledgement of the situation, it becomes the first realization in our process and our power to create something different. And that's why I say that's where we start looking at life from, hey, it could be better, it should be better. Now, I would tell you folks out there, many times our outside environment ain't gonna help us with that. It's not going to help us with that. Let's ask Sharon first real quickly. Where there be times when our outside environment may not help us with that, even though we have a positive mindset. I'm going to take that different route. Especially as being a teacher.
Well, your outside environment is always going to be a catalyst. It's always going to be a factor. But when it is not going to help you. Well, one of the times it's not going to help you is when you decide that you're going to do everything by yourself. You know, and or when you decide you're not going to ask for help. Those are some times that come to me very quickly, that say that your outside environment, because your outside environment can be a big help if you choose the right parts. But you need to understand and know where to go for that help. And see, like when you all were talking, I had a different experience growing up. We have 3 different pictures of a single parent family. Mine was a single parent also, but my mother had a unified system around her that supported my sister and me. It supported her in dealing with my sister and me. Part of that was my father while he was alive. Part of that was my grandfather while he was alive. Part of that was, other people in the family. It was that support system that made us not realize that things were not as they should be. However, as we got older, we still saw that there were some things that we wanted to be different. For example, me, I had this attitude of, because there was something inside me that said, I'm supposed to be a daddy's girl. I wanted to make sure that my children had their father in the home the whole time, all of their growing up. And that was something that I stuck to a fault. So, sometimes you can.
I share that sentiment.
Say that again.
I share that sentiment.
Say that one more time.
I share the absence of the believing that I was supposed to be a daddy's girl, and wanting the man in my life to be there as a father. I share that sentiment.
Yeah.
But I was also
and so
okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was also pondering on the fact that there's pros and cons to it all. It depends on the relationship. It depends on the person's point of view or perspective and what they grab from it and how deep the perspective goes. It's pros and cons, and your pros and cons are dependent on your perspective as well. So, like,
right.
It's pros and cons to all of it. Having both a mother and a father is not always
definitely.
It's not always as pleasant as people without both parents think. You might see 2 parents who argue your whole life, and with the combat the whole time. It's not always as pleasant. So people thinking, "Oh, I should have had my mama. I should have had my daddy. I wish I would have had both." You don't know the dynamic of their relationship if you only have one. You don't know if wishing your father was there would have been more pleasant than just having your mother. You really don't know. So you take your pros and your cons.
You're
You try to see the silver lining of everything and learn from every experience and
Yeah,
keep.
I'm kind of gonna remember.
you're exactly right. And you know the funny thing is, and I don't mean funny, haha. I mean funny as
It is funny.
as an anomaly. I was having, you know, in our classes we have the students writing personal narratives and things, and there was one girl who wrote it beautifully too, about how you know, people get upset about their parents getting a divorce, and she wanted to celebrate when her parents got a divorce because all she could remember between the two of them were just arguing. Every night it was an argument. If it wasn't an argument, it was a fight. If it wasn't a fight, it was something that was silent. You know, there was just always negativity. And she said her life began when she turned 8 and they got a divorce. And now she has both parents who are truly parenting, but they're not together because, you know, and so you don't think about how sometimes that's the way it has to go, but you don't want it to go that way. You want to be able to work things out. You as a couple, you want to be able to see how you can support one another.
Yeah.
Before it gets to that point. You know, early on, find out where that support is. You know, bridge statements help do that.
Which is what we're talking about.
Yeah, you know, and so, and when you said that, that triggered that to me, but it also brought to me that, and one of the things when I was reading that, you know, that's kind of sad too, that was her lifestyle, when maybe when it's very possible that they could have gone to counseling and worked that out, and her life, her early childhood would not have been traumatized.
I've been listening to your new digital radio station. It's Hot 21. It's awesome. Yeah, we'll be on that Hot 21. Thank you, Mrs. Alice.
We'll just say Alice.
Alice for letting us know that. I want to be the Nixon advocate. I want to be the devil's advocate, as you two ladies have been moving in, talking about it, giving that expression. And you know I was going to come and do it.
We've been waiting for you, dear.
I was waiting. I promise I was.
So that means the idea of taking a journey together in a balanced way, really the assumption of it being a healthy path to take in life is only assumption, only an avenue, only a choice that is relative to the people or the persons who want to take it. Because at the end, it really doesn't matter anything. Anyway, it's just a crapshoot or whatever could happen in a relationship.
No.
I'm just saying.
No.
Which is like the example that I just gave about the couple who were fighting all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you know, the daughter sees that divorce is the only way. Mm-hmm. But no, counseling could have changed things.
Had they been taking the journey together, it may not have led in divorce. She would have seen what it looked like to be going through hell and how to get through it and still be in unity.
Yeah. Relationships, it's not either or, all or nothing. There's that middle ground that we need to strive for.
Oh, you mean there is really a balance that we're talking about?
There's a balance.
Of course.
Yeah.
I just thought I asked. That's all.
Yeah, I love it. I so love it.
We've definitely. Here's the thing: if we felt like a relationship was worth getting into in the beginning, why is it that somewhere through the middle, it's not worth saving, or it's not worth doing everything you possibly can to keep, you know, to rebuild, or to restructure, or to keep it going, you know? But sometimes you need guidance. Sometimes you need assistance in that. But you also have to have two people on the same page.
Okay. Well, we got to go to what?
A break.
And when we come back, I will play the devil and the Nixon advocate and answer your questions that has to do with that other side that because you guys are talking so
I
ideal. You're talking
love
so
it.
pie in the sky. It's not even funny. You're being like that pastor I said the one time. You're talking so heavenly. You're earthly no good. No, anyway, we're going to go to a break real quickly, and we shall be right back. So just stay with us and hold your horses, right?
Hold your thoughts.
Yep. You ready, Sharon?
I'm ready.
Need your garments cleaned with care and with a professional touch? Then bring them to One Price Cleaners in Garden City at the Old Farmers Market on Highway 80. Service you can count on.
Hey, we're back.
And we are definitely back and ready to go.
He's bringing her back in. We're bringing her back in. Oh, she's back in. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
We caught you.
We caught you with your hair up. No, down. There you go. And that pretty smile at least came forth. Okay. Go ahead, Sharon.
So you're supposed to answer.
Oh, I got caught. I was looking at something. I was looking at something engineering wise that kind of came to my mind. Well, it actually showed up, but anyway, we won't worry about it. Okay, so where was I again? What was I supposed to be doing?
You were supposed to be playing the next
Devil's advocate
because we were talking so
ideally.
Ideal.
Oh, and you brought it up and said at the end that it's a balance. Well, and you were saying how come it is not actually happening that way, right? Right.
Yes.
You did. Because
couples actually, like to try to do it themselves, and when they're unsuccessful, they divorce.
Majority of the relationships are operating in what we call that self-centered. I can do this on my own, and I don't necessarily need to work with someone else in that relationship because maybe that old school mentality came up as I've got my personal rights, I got my personal thoughts, I got my personal space, even though I may be laying with you in the same place.
They're not loving it.
Huh? What's that?
And they're not loving each other for them. They're not loving each other for them. They're loving each other for what that person can do for them.
Exactly.
And when it doesn't happen that way, it's combative. And I don't want to be with you no more because you're not serving me. Instead of just loving me for who I am and in my growth.
Yes, yes. Well, when you come into a relationship, not in a balanced way, you come into a relationship with I'm about trying to get me before that person gets me and how much I can get out of that particular person, then that's what happens. Even the old school came up with that concept where the man has to be the captain savior. We were kind of talking about it before it came online. And in turn, the sister, on the other hand, can in turn be saved or usually ends up being mostly the victim. And there's no real balance in that relationship whatsoever. And that's a kind of old school mentality. Some folks who are watching this ain't going to be too happy with me saying that, but it really is. And so therefore, operating in that stressful situation where it's not healthy, it's not balanced, there is no wonder why people could easily come under the assumption of, and you think I need to be concerned about what you think of, what you feel of, and have empathy for it? No. I got everybody right that I don't have to. As long as you stay around and keep on going for the okie doke, I don't see any reason why it should be any different.
Right.
And I'm saying to you, there's a lot. I know, because in my past life, I did a lot of counseling with people. It's a high level. And our Black community ain't got much better in that particular matter. We still fighting at one each other. We have a lot of competition with one another, not understanding the outside environment of what I call racism is really caused that kind of ingrown explosion or implosion. And so we continue to walk that way thinking it's okay. Luckily, we're looking at younger people as this young lady, even though there's nothing new under the sun, they are saying we want something different. We need to do something different. We can't just play the same game over and over again. Do as you say, but not as you do. Or do as you do, even though you don't say it. And we got to do something different. So I'm saying to you, what we're introducing, we're taking the journey and we're introducing this balance. Yeah, it makes sense. And yeah, you guys say that. But some people are like shaking their head like, whatever, that's ideal. Ain't going to never happen in my world. And I'll end that right there.
That's true. But part of the reason why it'll never happen in their world is because they don't believe in the possibilities of what it can do. They don't have an example that they can see firsthand of how it can be beneficial to them. In our community, there is a lot of issues that could be solved with outside help. And when I say outside help, I mean counseling and coaching. But we have this attitude or this belief system that has been going on for generations that say anything that you have to get outside help for means that there's something wrong with you. And I will never admit that something is wrong with me.
You ain't gonna mess with my head. And there's a lot of reason why.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? The Tuskegee?
Oh yeah.
And then of course the lady that had and still has that cell that has actually never died and still multiplied.
Even though she's
been
died.
Dead years ago, never gave her family money.
Or recognition.
Exactly. So we're not gonna let you mess with her head. Go ahead.
The outside help should be inside help. And what I mean by that is instead of going to them folks, we need to be going to our folks, like our elders and our people that are showing successful relationships, or even not necessarily successful relationships, but are showing experience in relationships. Because even if it's not successful, they've learned from their mistakes. And if they care about us and like y'all care about me, I know it's older to younger, it's genuine spirits, kindred spirits. Y'all not gonna steer me the wrong way if I have some input or something going on and I reach out and like I'm dealing with this. You're gonna guide me from your experience. And if we take that from our community, I might get a little bit from you, a little bit from you, a little bit from you. I'll get what I need. So outside experience can be inside. Outside help can be.
Wow. You actually believe that?
Yeah, I believe that. I can learn from anybody. And I believe that we all have experiences. Okay. And I can learn from everyone's experience. I could take a perspective that's not necessarily my own and eat from that. It doesn't, and it might not give me exactly what I need for the current situation, but it'll give me something. You can take something from everything.
Yes. Sharon, go ahead before I even kick in that, because I think what she's referring to is some very wise statement that leads to another statement I want to say at the end. That's an old African saying when it comes to the relationship of people and how we connect with one another. That's spoken very clearly in that matter. I don't want to bring it up yet, but yet that has everything to do with if we stay under that kind of concept that I can learn and open, and that anybody could be that person that is my mate too, then maybe by that end, my time of disagreement, where we talked about before, that water is really not us, it's a disagreement, and we are able to look outside of us and look at it as being a disagreement, and we understand, as we talked about before, we are to be together. This is the purpose that we are to be together. Our God or whatever says this is what we are to be. Then therefore, this problem that we're having cannot be any bigger than us, and that we can solve this at the same time.
Right. And I agree that, I think one thing that is happening is that there is a group of young people who, or a segment of young people who really see that not every older couple or seasoned couple um, is a waste.
Yeah.
And so they are ready to, for lack of better terminology, ready to sit at the feet of the elders and find out um, relationships and what they can do better. There was one time that we went to a shaman to get some insight into relationship, and this elder sat, we sat with him while he gave us insight into our relationship and where it was going and the positives about it.
Was this the brother that was the elder at Village Oyotunya? God rest the young king, a brother who just passed away not too long ago. What's his name again?
The Oba.
Not the Oba who passed away, but the king. I'm also giving recognition to the king of
that's who I'm talking about.
What was it the Oba's name again?
I can't remember.
You used to put it over the plots of the well.
Yes, Kabayesi.
Yes, exactly.
Good
brother. Missed that brother too. But we used to go there and get some counseling from some of those old elders up there, and they really, in turn, really helped us out. I will say this to you: it's something I had to learn when I was a young man, because I was very strong-headed. Nothing wrong with that, but it was out of plain unwisdomness, not knowing that other people are strong-willed and at the same time are also as knowledgeable, if not more. And so because of that, I remember our older brother told me, you have to always make sure that part of your credibility is you stay connected with someone else who can be a help and a blessing to you, because then you show that you are not uncomfortable of being accountable. I'll say it again. And accountability is another, we'll talk about it some other time. Yeah. Accountability is another foundation of relationship. I'll say it again. Yeah. Accountability is another foundation in a relationship. If you go back to friendship, true friendship, in true friendship, you always stayed accountable to each other. You did. No matter what, you stayed accountable to each other. Good or bad, you did. You got to bring that into relationship when it comes to a balanced, healthy relationship. What you guys think about that? Yeah. I know that was a devil advocate. I'm sorry.
I agree. He wasn't an advocate. Yeah.
Continue. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying you weren't a devil's advocate. We agree. Like, we're right here with you.
But tell me, how do you see with other young people? How do you think that in turn they could utilize this avenue that we talked about, bridge statement? How do you think that they could actually implement that in the relationship? Because I think one of the things you talked about is sometimes we get so busy in life, it's hard for us to think about bringing in this kind of terminology, this kind of strategy, because it's not necessarily complicated. It's not something that's been habitual of me doing and thinking and implementing. And I'm so much in my self-consciousness, it's actually a conscious track, to be honest with you. We get it from other particular people in life, it's TV, media, or people that were personal. Let's say when this stuff happens, you go out of your feelings. And if your feelings are anger, then show your anger. If you go out on shutting down, then you go on shut down. If you go down and turn wanting to freeze, then you freeze, and you just automatically do it. And many times that's all part of your chemical anyway. And you say nothing more about it.
I believe we all could benefit from it. We first have to hold ourselves accountable again. We have to acknowledge that, again, like you said, it's not us that is the problem. It's the storm that's the problem, or the river, the lake, the whatever it is you're trying to get through. That's the problem. And then we can acknowledge that first. Then we could take the step and being like, okay, I'm not the problem. You're not the problem. Let's talk about this. Let's get through it. Let's have these bridge statements. We could create. Bridge statements are created when you have understanding of what we're lacking together in communication. So when I realize that I'm not getting through to this person, or they're not listening because of this, then I acknowledge the reasons that you're not listening. I acknowledge why we're not communicating well. And then we both hold ourselves accountable, and we get through that. We can all benefit from that. We just have to first see it. and acknowledge it in ourselves. If you don't acknowledge it in yourself, if you don't think there's a problem with you, if you don't think there's a problem with, or the other person doesn't think there's a problem with them, and no one sees it, you're not going to get anywhere. So yeah, we need to have people more involved a little bit, not too much, but I think people should see our relationships, and people that we trust should see our relationship so they can observe and say, hey, Empress, you weren't right there. I get where you were coming from. I see your point of view, but you're not taking his point of view into accountability, and with that you're doing this, and that's not working for y'all. That's why y'all not communicating well. You need to do this, that, and the third. And I could look, evaluate, and say, you know what, you're right. I was being a little bit too emotional or too aggravated or too whatever it was I was being. And then I could take a step back and catch it every time it happens, or at least try put some effort towards that.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that a bridge statement will do. It will connect the two people in the relationship in ideology.
Exactly.
Because they have, the one person that makes the bridge statement sets things up so the other person can hear the connection that they are trying to make, and therefore they can continue. They can close that bond together. That make that connection.
I'm going to do a bridge statement right now, and I'm going to see if this works and see what this young lady will talk a little bit more. We've been using her more than once, but no one's heard it.
So she's dope.
I will see if she can finally be heard. Okay, let me turn up the sound, put it out. Just shake your head, yes or no, if we can hear it. Here it goes.
Right. If the way you want your partner to respond to you in conflict is not the way you respond to them in conflict, we have a problem. Part of the reason why you can't get through that conflict is because you're doing things that are automatic to you. And just because it's automatic to you doesn't mean that it's healthy, and it doesn't mean that it's going to work in the conflict with your partner. Remember, they may be doing things that are automatic as well. So one of you all is going to have to be willing to bend somewhere so you can break that cycle. Your best practice is going to come from your intentionality, trying to work through conflict in a healthier way. If you're constantly interrupting your partner, you're preventing them from expressing themselves. How is that healthy? Each time you accuse them, you're cornering them. And then you're wondering why they're so defensive. You're pointing the finger at them and acknowledging their role in the conflict, but not acknowledging yours. Preaching morality while demoralizing your partner. Wondering why they can't focus on one thing, but you keep on bringing the past up. Sarcasm, mocking them, patronizing, being condescending. Being dismissive, not mindful of your tone. Being stubborn, being willful, not willing to compromise, not willing to bend. You can't yell off that a person doesn't know how to communicate if you've done any of those things that I just addressed. And that's a short list. To really become strong at navigating conflict and really learning how to collaborate with your partner, it takes a level of willingness and intentionality that you have to practice. Even if you don't fully agree with their point of view, you need to learn how to start seeing things from a broader standpoint and learning to see things more objectively. You can't expect to be able to work through and resolve a conflict if you're being subjective, because then your focus is only on your thoughts, your feelings, and your perspectives. So look at your automatic responses. If you're quick to shut down, if you're quick to run away, if you're quick to avoid, if you're quick to snap, if you're quick to become defensive, if you're quick to becoming hostile, if you're interrupting them, if you're over talking them, if you're leaning into distractions, if you're derailing by changing the subject, any of that. If you feel like these are my automatic responses when I feel overwhelmed, or I feel like I'm cornered, or I feel like I'm distressed in a conflict, I need to start working on things that are the opposite of that to make sure that I'm actually staying connected in the midst of this conflict. Because being connected in a conflict is absolutely important. Even if you have to call a timeout because you have to work through that emotional distress, it's your responsibility to say, I'm coming back to talk about this. Go regulate, come back. But the goal is to still stay connected. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I hear y'all. I received all the DMs, the text messages, and the emails, and y'all flooded off.
Sorry about that.
So
that was what we needed to hear. Oh, hold on, where's she at? Oh, there you are.
So a lot of people,
that was
people.
That was something to hear.
I'm one of those people that will dig, and dig. I will hang on to the thought process that it takes. Like, just even listening to that, to some people, is a lot. She said a lot of key points, and to keep comprehension of everything that she said takes a lot of work. So when you have someone who is intentional the way she was saying, and actually doing all of that, that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of will, and a lot of people don't have that mental fortitude. I like to say emotional and mental fortitude. Like, I don't have time for that. A lot of people will break down and just be like, ah, this is too much. It's a lot. And they'll just stop. And it takes that if you really care. And that's why in marriage, you have to understand what that means. When you marry someone, you're signing up for this type of work. My understanding of it. And a lot of us in the youth, I'm not sure about the um generations before me, but I know in the youth, marriage is just something that they use to be okay with having sex, or they look at it like, oh, I'm married. It's a check mark in the clout world, instead of looking at it for what it really is. Like, it's serious. Like, love, marriage, marrying someone and unifying and becoming one. If you're religious or whatever, you're really becoming one, and that takes a lot of work, and people don't realize what they're really signing up for with a whole nother individual person with different perspectives and personality traits and all of that. And it's important to have that willpower to get through that stuff, especially if you make a vow or a commitment like marriage. Like, we really need to acknowledge how deep it really is and how much work it really takes.
Knowing who that, and you're very, very true. Everything you said is very, very true, young Andy. I will tell you right now, as a spiritual person, practice a certain way, you will be challenged with every word you said, because the universe is listening to you.
I've already been there. I promise you, I've already been there.
And it ain't gonna never stop.
And I'm with it.
Never stop.
I'm with it. I'm resilient.
The point I'm saying to you is not as a lack of challenge, but to say to you that in life, when you take that journey together and you're trying to make that connection, that you're connected to all things, you will have, especially today in this time, the challenge of that is a pipe dream that should not exist. And in certain cultures, especially in the cultures here in America, when it comes to connection to African Americans, I'm gonna let you young people know, it has especially been set up propaganda-wise that we've been bamboozled, we've been hoodwinked to think that we are not supposed to work together. We are not supposed to have strong relationships. We are not supposed to be a power couple. So you even have that outside propaganda that's going to be working on you for real when it comes to moving forward. So I will tell you, when I said the universe is going to challenge you, I was talking about some angels flying in the air. I was talking about actual people, actual programs, actual shows that in turn will challenge you to say that should not be so. Stop doing what you're doing. And we're not even going to talk about the individual people that you'll probably run into still today that are challenging you to do that. So the tenaciousness that you have to continue to going on, you're going to need that, and it has to be part of your life. No doubt about it. If you get someone else in your relationship who has the same dynamics, the same understanding, or using a biblical reference, equally yoked, it's going to make it much more easier, because both of you are walking together. And I'm going to use a biblical term. I don't do it all the time because I'm not a Bible man, but how can yet two people walk together unless they agree as friends? And which is why friendship is so important. And a balance.
I completely agree.
So important.
You got to you find out all of this information as you're building that friendship.
Yes.
You know,
You have to acknowledge.
That's the key.
People have to acknowledge that just as much as you are human and flawed and all, go in yourself, think about it, see yourself, look at it. You ain't perfect, you flawed, you human, you want to be vulnerable. It's not comfortable being vulnerable, but you want to be. The other person feels the same way. Like, we're human first. Everybody, we all are. And if you can accept that I'm human and this person that you're dealing with is just as human and we are one, and then you understand the complexes of this one individual, then you can just sit down and be easy with yourself and be easy with that person and just be their best friend.
Perfect time to start working on that is right now, as you prepare for the holiday that's coming up, and we prepare to say that it's getting right about that time that we've got to go.
Exactly. We won't see you guys again until after the holidays. For everyone who's listened to, have a blessed holiday. Whether you celebrate, Christmas, celebrate Jesus, celebrate Kwanzaa. Don't forget about Kwanzaa too. Because we won't be here next Thursday. We'll probably be something recorded that we'll play back again. But we're going to have a happy holiday. Get yourself prepared for next year. We got some new great things we're going to be showing next year, but make sure that you look at your relationship as being something new and different for next year. Don't present the same old thing. I know our resolutions are always about weight, not eating. How about making a new resolution about making your relationship better and expanding it, and in turn, make it in such a way that you both feel much better about it, and then you're able to reach out to your kids in the community and be an example to them at the same time too, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. First of all, let's let everybody know where we're going to be. I know most people know where we're going to be, but you're going to go first. Sure. I don't know.
Go. You go first. We'll close it out.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm Empress Makalani, and you can find me at IC Port Savannah on all platforms. And you can find me on Thursdays after the new year with these guys at Taking the Journey Together.
All right, let's go next one.
And you can find us on Saturday mornings at on WRUU. That is 107.5 for Taking the Journey Together. That is at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, you can find us right here on Thursday evenings at 6 o'clock. And you can email us at ttjt@takingthejourney-together.com. On Facebook, we are TTJ Together. On Instagram, we are Taking the J Together.
Okay, we'll do something a little bit different. This came to mind. We'll do some libations, not the ones that are dead. I want you to start up, young lady. What are some things that you want to give libations and blessings to someone right now for this holiday, real quickly? Just 2 or 3 of them. People.
2 or 3 people that I want to thank.
Yep.
I want to thank you guys. I want to thank the Most High.
Thank you, sister. Thank you.
Okay, I want to thank the Most High for gracing me with the wisdom and diligence and resilience. And I want to thank everybody that supports me. And I can't even name them. Anybody that supports me in anything that I do, please know that I support you. And I see Port Savannah.
All right. She does live and breathe that, folks, at the same time. And we're so glad to see she does. But she's got to remember, she's just as important, too, at the same time.
Yes.
Okay, sure. You.
I want to thank my husband. He has put up with a lot for me this year.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm recording this too. Is this on record? This is on record.
well, you did, and I mean, I left him for a month, and he was. That was hard.
But I was partying every night. No, I'm just joking. I was. Hey, I could cook for myself. Shoot. This microwave stuff was anyway, go ahead. It's not 59, so go ahead.
Beans out the can.
Yeah, exactly. I know. You're right. I did do that. You're right.
Let's see. We would also together we would like to thank those people who have been there for us this year, and those people who were our sounding board and who gave us direction and helped us out along the way, and especially to Dr. Frazier, who brought you back.
Yeah, he did. He was a man.
Yes.
That was definitely a man.
He's always going to be high up on our list of people to be grateful for.
Yep. She said everything. I have to say. I also have to say, Julius, thank you very much, along with Jamal, too, for being such a blessing to help us out. And we continue on here on this great platform itself. We're looking for being a new platform. We're looking for some greater things to go on to next year. You get ready to say real quickly, we're over time, but go ahead and stop.
I just want to thank Jam English with Clicked Up Studios. That's it.
There you go. All right. God bless everyone. Take care.
Stay with us.
And we'll see you next. What's it going to be next year?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes, it'll be
January.
January.
Is that what it'll be?
Yep, January 3rd.
Okay.